now the next thing we're going to do here is you all were flying the Blackbird last time when I checked in on the webinar, and I've got a great video for that. It's a 5-minute video I want you all to see. We're going to back this up, and we're going to explain it before you start running a little bit.
And
all right, so what happens in this story? They're talking about the SR Blackbird, SR 71. I should be more specific. It was a spy plane, super fast, very high, goes faster than a bullet. It's an amazing aircraft. And what they're going to talk about is the air traffic controllers, the people that control who's and where on an airplane. Let me see if there's any questions. I got hands raised, so it makes me a little bit nervous. Let me make sure. We won't know until Wednesday. I'm giving everybody to Wednesday for the contest, Mateo. All right, now, he asked who won the bridge contest. All right, so SR-71, fastest bird plane air. And the story is being told by the actual pilot of an SR-71. And he's talking about there's air traffic controllers. And it starts off with a Cessna, and he's requesting his airspeed. This is back when this was done before there's GPSs, so you didn't know necessarily what your ground speed was compared to the plane. And it would help you, for example, navigating. So, here you go. That's why it's just a 5-minute, but it's pretty cool and pretty kind of funny if you think about what the guy's saying. So we're going to go ahead and start that.
Story. And it was just a story about one day it was really cool being SR-71 pilot. Walter and I were doing a training mission around the United States. We just were building up hours and time. And we take off out of Beale, hit a tanker in Idaho, rip on up to Montana, zip across Denver, hang a right turn in Albuquerque, out over Los Angeles, up to Seattle, back into Sacramento, 2 hours, 21 minutes. And you just do that and you do it backwards, and you hit a tanker or two. It was just to gain crew coordination, build your hours. We're on our last training mission. We're over Tucson. I can see downtown LA from Tucson. We're at 89,000 feet. I can see the whole western United States bathed in a warm October fall glow. I can see the chain of Rocky Mountains from Canada to New Mexico. I could just see the most beautiful picture laid at my feet, and the air as smooth as glass. Not a gauge moving in the cockpit. It was perfect. Now I'm thinking, we bad. And I feel sorry for Walter because he has to monitor 5 radios in the back seat, so I flipped the switch up just to listen. And LA Center is they control all, when you fly Southwest Air, the guys controlling everybody. But we're above controlled airspace. So they have us on their scope, but they're not talking to us. Now, there's controllers all over the country. Jacksonville Center, Chicago Center, Seattle Center, It's the same guy. They all talk the same. And it's really cool the way they talk because they make you feel important as a pilot. They don't just say, yeah, okay, here's your thing. They make you feel really cool. So sure enough, this was pre-GPS days. Some Cessna guy has to know his ground speed. LA Center, Cessna, November Tango Alpha. You got a ground speed readout for us? Now, Center would like to say, who cares? Get off free. But no, he'll talk to him like he's John Glenn. Cessna, November Alpha, we show you 90 knots, 90 knots on the ground. And they do that sing-song, but that's how they talk.
All right, so what he's saying there is, hey, here's a Cessna. That's the ground speed. It's 90 miles. Now, the air traffic controller goes, you're only going 90 miles an hour. Why are you asking? Get off. But he wouldn't do that. He's going to say it, your airspeed of 90. He's going to make you feel important, which is really cool, All right, so now, here we go.
And it makes you feel kind of cool. Right after that, a twin Bonanza came up to pimp the guy for speed, I guess. And LA Center, Twin Beach, whatever. You got a ground speed readout for us? And Center likes it. God, it's Friday. Why me? God, please, just get off. But he's going to talk to him like he's Air Force One. Twin Beach, we show you 121.20 knots on the ground. And right after that, a Navy F-18 out of Lemoore popped.
So what happened was the Bonanza called up to show off that he was going faster. The air traffic control's probably going, oh my gosh, now everybody's going to start requesting this. Man, leave me alone. And all of a sudden, a Navy pilot pops up
On frequency. And you knew it was a Navy guy because he talked really slick on the radio. Center Dusty 5-2 speed check. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Dusty 5-2 has a ground speed indicator and that $1 million F-18 cockpit. It's right there in the heads-up display. Why is he calling center to broadcast his speed? I get it. We have just the meanest, baddest, fastest military jet in the valley today. We're taking our little Hornet jet over Mount Whitney and ripping across Death Valley. We want everyone from Fresno to the coast to know what real speed is. And you can almost hear a little glee in the controller's voice, like, we have put an end to this. Dusty 5-2, we show you 620 knots across the ground. And it was that across the ground. See that little knife, like, I hope nobody else has the nerve to get on frequency now. And there wasn't an airliner from Seattle to San Diego that wanted to be next on Freak. It's sort of an etiquette thing amongst flyers. And a 12-year-old was reaching for the mic button. And I thought, oh, no, wait, Walter's in charge of the radios. I flew single seat all those years, but I'm in the family model now, and I went, no, it's the Navy. They must die. They must die now. And I thought, no, but if I do, I'll upset Walter, and I want us to be a good crew. And at that moment, I heard a click of the mic button in the back seat. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter and I became a crew at that moment. In his best innocent voice, LA Center, Aspen 30. Have you got a ground speed readout for us? You could almost hear a collective gasp on Freak, like, oh, the poor fools didn't hear the previous transmissions. Oh, they got crushed like a grape. It's just a pilot thing. But Center had to give you that same voice. Aspen 30, we show you 1,992 knots across the ground. When I knew I was going to like Walter a lot is when he came back and said, Center, we're showing a little closer to 2,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we did not hear another transmission on that frequency all the way to the coast. The king of speed lived, the Navy had been flamed, and a crew had been formed. For just a moment, it was absolutely fun being the fastest guys on the block.
And here's the guy who was giving that talk, and there's Walter, the guy that was running the radio, doing that. So it was awesome. Very cool. All right, I just love that story. It was a great speed check. LA speed check. They're the fastest thing in the valley that day. All right. Now, if you haven't done it already, make sure we're going to go to lesson 2 today. I'm not going to review 1. For all those who are here, we're going to talk about lesson 2 and wait. Or I can just real briefly go through 1 just for a quick second. All we really learned in 1 was the 6 different control instruments. We learned that energy is not created or destroyed. It simply changes shape. That in an airplane, you can convert fuel into either more potential energy, that is altitude, or different kind of kinetic energy, air speed. So fuel is potential energy. It's converted through an engine in either more potential energy in terms of altitude or becomes airspeed. Point the nose down, we go faster, we gain airspeed, but we lose potential energy. Point the nose up, you lose airspeed, but you gain altitude. Those are both ways of energy. Energy is never created, nor it is destroyed. It is simply change, right? Form. That is the rule on energy. It's either created or destroyed. All the energy that's ever made or ever been already exists in the universe. All we do is change the shapes and the way we see it. Now, and we talked in that lesson, you talked about, hopefully, okay, I've been able to fly the plane because I can't get my mouse control to work. Unhook your joystick on there, Jean-Marc. There's probably a joystick there. There's probably a joystick. There's some USB control on there, and it's misrepresenting that, Jean-Marc. Sorry. All right. Last point of all that energy management. It is dangerous to be low and slow in an airplane because you don't have enough energy. If you're way up high, you can always point the nose down and gain airspeed. If you're going really fast, you can always pull the nose up and go higher. But it's when you're low and slow, if you have to point the nose up, you don't have any energy to get that altitude. You'll stall. All right? So, and we use that when we land an airplane. We're trying to go low and slow. We want to do it right over that runway. All right? All right. I don't have anything plugged in. Well, when you do your setup, let's make sure you're seeing it, because I don't understand why you wouldn't get the mouse. All right, buddy? So let's make sure it's not up there and you just don't see it on the screen. And worst comes to worst, we'll try to find you a joystick Thursday. We'll see if there's any old ones of somebody. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to put everybody's hands out. Raise your hand once you've got X-Plane 9 running. At least get everybody running on yours. Raise your hand once you got X-Plane up. Don't worry about flying so much and get you the settings. We'll get you set it down the road. All right, we got about going on. Harry, Levi, Mateo, Philip. Well, he's offline, but if you've got the X-Plane up, let us know. If you don't have it or you're not running it, raise your hand so we're not waiting for you when you never have any chance to be on there. So Mateo, get it on there if you're going. All right. All right. So let's look at everybody. Let me get your screen up here. We're going to talk right now. Pause it. Make sure you pause the X-Plane. Don't have it running in the background. Pause it now. You're probably in demo mode. It goes about 10 minutes or so. So that way we want to pause it. Okay? All right. We're talking about forces in this lesson. Forces, remember, is a vector, and it has both magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction. That's why it's really, they should always say a pitcher's throwing at a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Wow, what velocity? No, they should really say in that case speed, because it's just magnitude. You'd have to say the pitcher's throwing at 100 miles per hour north to really call it velocity, to be technically accurate. All right. Weight is the result of mass times gravity. So you'd be massive, but if there's no gravity, there's no weight. So the International Space Station can have no weight right? But if you tried to get out in your little astronaut spacesuit and tried to stop it from spinning or tried to do something with it, it would just bounce you around like a ball because you would have no weight and it's much more massive than you, therefore has much more what's called inertia. All right, now the mass of an airplane includes airplane, the wings, tails, landing gear, launch, fuel, payload, crew, passengers, cargoes, and such. When you're flying level, it's always straight down like this. Now, what we're going to do in this lab is, and again, remember, some of you have done this in the past. Got it. We're going to go into more advanced things down the road, but some of us haven't done it, and you haven't done it in a year and a half or two. It's a good idea to review all this stuff. It's boring out. And just on a side note, Thursday we have lab. Thursday night, for Thursday night lab, it's Thursday night. So you're back on your airplane, and then what we're going to go is into data input and outputs. So I'm going to go show you that as well. So here, I'm going to pull this up. We're all going to look at this. If I can find my copy of Explain here. Here it is. Now, we're going to go to settings, data input, output. And you're going to select speed, distance traveled, landing gear forces. Put everybody's hands down. Raise your hand back again when you have this. Again, let me show you how to do that. Go up here, go to settings, data input, output, and do it like this. Raise your hand once you have it to there. All right, excellent. We got most everybody is on here saying they're set. So that's your settings there. We're going to go what's called data C in a moment. Let me first go back to the airplane. I'm going to start back over. Mine's going to load back up here. Here are the controls. Gears say I'm going to get ready to fly it. It's paused. I'm going to hit B for brake. Push the throttle in. I'm going to click up here where it says pause. You can see the little white square there. Though now it's because the lighting in here is terrible. It looks bad. But you can see the make out of that. Now, I'm going to take off. It might look choppy on your end. I'm going to keep it right near the X on this thing, which is right on mine. It's hard to see here, but I don't really have to move it. It'll take off once it gets that speed. It's off the ground almost. I'm now off the ground. If I hit Shift A, there you see me off the ground. Not by much either. I'm just a few feet off-site ground. But I am off the ground. Now, when I go back to settings, I go to data input output. I go to data C. Now, chances are these will all be clicked. Unclick most of them. Leave just these here, here. So I have two different airspeeds. Then when I go through this landing gear right here, when the landing gear all becomes 0, we define that as takeoff. And then we go up to that purple line. which is the distance. That'll tell me how many feet I've gone, and that yellow line there will tell me the true airspeed. At this point right here, where all the gear is 0, like, so it'd be technically right here. Do you see what I just did there? I unchecked VN, VN, V true, V true, VN, V true. All the other check marks, lefty landing gear up there. Now I'm going to go and click your hands down just to see how many people have gotten to there. All right, now, if you would, show me how many people see this now. I've gotten to this screen, understand how to get there. Because we're going to use class time so people will do these labs. We're going to use class time to do these, all right? Because that's what we want. I want you doing the lab. There's no point in just listening to us on it. So, what's going to happen? Well, if you look at this demo, which you can look at, you go to input, output. We select 32166. And then we're going to change payload weight. And that's from weight and fuel. So if I go back in the next plane, menu might be gone when you first get over there. Let me get out of this. If I go to aircraft, weight and fuel, I'm going to go to payload weight. And I'm going to fly it. First at in this case, it's 307, which would be fine. But 297, just write down whatever it is. But just leave that weight the same and do it 3 times. Then look at the takeoff speed and takeoff distance. Then increase it to 600, do it 3 times, and then 900. And you'll have in your handoff, and see, and that shows you how to do that, right? How to uncheck things, okay? Now, I've had that volume up. Let's turn that volume way down here. All right, now, let me go. You should have a handout. Gamma flight, just go into there. Remember, we're at lesson 2. We have some advanced ones we'll do this year. Let's go up here. All right, so we went through that one. Let's go to lesson 2. You can write the answers down. I'm going to pop it up here so you'll have it. Just wait. We're in lesson 2. This will give you step-by-step what to click on. Then wait. I want us to spend this time. If you end up using 309 because that's the airplane's change, go into true airspeed, go into takeoff distance. So load it up at 296. Fly till it takes off. Look on the graph. Write down the airspeed and the takeoff distance. Let's do it for those 3, getting average takeoff distances. All right, guys, when you get to this spot here, please raise your hand so I know that indeed you're working on this. You should be flying the X-plane now. All right? And we're going to fill out this worksheet. You should be doing, we're going to do basically 9 flights here. 3 flights, and if you're at 300 pounds, it's fine. Just write it on there. True airspeed takeoff distance, and see, and then get the averages of those 3. And that's what we're going to do. Let me see under questions here. I figured out why it wasn't working. Why it wouldn't work? Why was that, Jean-Marc? Why wouldn't that work? You've got me intrigued. Connected to a non-existent Bluetooth controller. Oh, those dreaded non-existent Bluetooth controllers. Thanks for sharing that. I would never have thought of that, but now that you know it, now I'll know going forward. Okay. I'm going to put your hands down now. I'm going to let you go ahead and go. I'm going to watch the questions, so that's what I'm going to stare at. So when it comes up, and I'll try to answer it, but try to fly those flights. Again, we have lab this Thursday, and we're going to be building, because we're going to aviation, big gliders. People that were here Saturday will tell you we started to make the wings. It's going to be pretty sweet. Raise your hand once you got it, but go ahead and fly, and it's fine. That's what I'm here. I'm looking at questions. All right, I'm just waiting. All right, William, got all 9 flights. Good for you. So is Caleb. So down here, once you have those 9 flights, you can graph it right here. You can try to see if you can answer those questions. Okay, how we coming? Go ahead and graph it. If you want, you can answer the questions going forward. That's what we're trying to do once you get done with that. But it's 8:38 now. We'll go, hopefully get everybody ready to go here in the next 5 to 8 minutes. All right, any questions on this? Raise your hands once you've got those, guys. This year I'm trying to give you enough time during class, so I don't expect you to do homework when you got other classes as well. So far, I got 3 people who said they're done. I'm hoping the next 3 minutes we can kind of get through that. Let me know. All right, great. We got more people going up here. I'll give it a couple more minutes for those last folks. go ahead. If I'm just showing you over here for those people done, let's go ahead to payload, distance, payload. Take the averages and plot them. What the distance is according to payload. Okay, let's go ahead and calculate your average takeoff distance to payload. Everybody, okay? Now, what I'm hoping you find out, as the payload increases, does the takeoff distance increase or decrease? Raise your hand if you think the payoff distance increases. Everybody, vote one way or the other. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said the payload increases, the takeoff distance increases, you'd be correct. Does a longer takeoff distance indicate more or less payload? More payload. Does airspeed go up or down as you increase payload? The requirements for that. I'm gonna put your hand down. If you think airspeed goes up, raise your hand. Before it takes off, does airspeed also have to go up? And the answer to all that is yes, it does. Do larger airplanes require a larger airstrip? Yes, they do. The biggest airplanes they make today can only be landed in like 2 places in the United States. Or a very few places. I get better careful. They've been out for a little while now. But the biggest, most massive airplanes they're building require huge, long runways. All right? Now, just know that the vector, by the way, this weight also, it's always falling. That resultant vector, that gravity wave is always going, straight horizontal down. You got that resultant vector. That's one of the reasons part of the reason why a plane slows down and it goes the other way, why a plane speeds up. You're getting a gravity drag or a gravity assist. If you ever go down a mountain, it's faster to go down the mountain than it is to climb up. It's a gravity assist. Okay, let's look at the moon. Confirm your payload's 900 pounds, so check on that. And then at the special properties on this, let's go over here, back up to. So make sure you've set this at 900. By the way, look at your way over your max gross. You would never fly a plane like that. All right, special. And we're going to set environmental properties. That menu comes up. So let me show you again. Make sure you're at 900. Then go to settings. Go to settings. Whoa, special. Excuse me. Go to special. Set environmental properties, and that's the value you're going to set there. And the value, if I remember, let me go pull that up. Is planet mass that the mass of the moon, which is 0.660. So planet MU is make that 0.660. All right. The gravity is now 1.622425. Go ahead and fly the airplane. See what the difference is in your flight now. Now that we've reduced the amount of gravity. We haven't changed the mass of the airplane. We kept it at 900, but we have changed gravity. See what that does and answer a couple quick questions. Raise your hand once you've done that. Fly, make sure too, when you get done, make sure you set it back to normal Earth, or every time you fly from now on, the gravity will be funky. Okay? So go ahead and fly this. What's really cool about this, as you'll see in a minute here, we'll talk about it in the last few minutes of class. Make sure you go under environmental properties. Again, that's under settings, special, set environmental properties, set it to a value like this. Make sure later we set that back. Raise your hand once you've got this. And you've answered the questions. Great. All right, great. So people have done it. What you're going to see is, it's going to say, what's the new takeoff distance? It should be a shorter distance than when you were under regular gravity. Your value should be less than that it was on Earth. What is the new takeoff speed? Again, you should be able to take off at a slower speed. Takeoff distance should have decreased. All right. Did the takeoff speed increase or decrease? And that should have been less as well. Now, what's really cool about that, on the moon, you'd be able to fly. If we put an atmosphere on the moon, which we might be able to do in craters, you'd be able to fly like a bird, which is pretty sweet. All right, now, got that done. Make sure you go back and you set yours. Make sure you set the back to 3.986. So right now, before you leave, do that. Go to Set Environmental Properties. And we want to go to 3. Three, 9, 8, 6, 3, 9, 8, 6. There's Earth's gravity. Right, 3.986. That gravity's now 9.78698. And make sure you get your payload back to 300 again, because if you set your payload really high, you come back later, it's going to drive you nuts. So I'm going to go back to weight and fuel. Make sure that's at 900. I'm going to put it back down to 300 or whatever the default value is on this. I think it's slightly more. Actually, on this plane, I guess it's like 307 is the answer. There you go. Your pilot, though, the pilot's weight could change, so I don't get really terribly torn up either way on that. All right. Okay. Wednesday, I will bring Tom to Toil, pick up the next lesson. Let me see as we go back through there. That'll be lesson 3. And you may even get it starting the lesson. Let me look at the table on it. Bear with me one second. I'm going to pull up. Look at the table of contents. So yeah, he's got the lift, which we're going to stall and drag. That may take, you may get through lift and then drag, I hope, with you guys. This, I will tell you, if you get through flight stability, we're going to do pressure and airspeed and coefficient of lift and drag, which is something we haven't done in the past. So we will have that going on. All right? Okay, then. Any other questions? If you're done, you can go ahead and go. If you're not done, I'll stay on a little bit longer if you want me to hang out here a little bit. So, all right. Have a great one. I will see you. Thank you. Have a good week. I'll be here Thursday. Colin, you're going to see me Friday. What's going on Friday? Thursday. Okay, good. It's like, what? You bet. You bet, guys. As also, you guys are awesome. Bye. Bye, everyone. I'll stay here, see if anybody's up and has a question. Don't forget the bridge building contest. You bet, Harry. Thank you. All right, Levi, Mateo, what are we doing, guys? Do you have any questions? Bye, Mateo. Levi, you got anything going on, buddy? All right, let me ask him. Yes, Levi. Hey, Levi.
I couldn't get mine to start for a little while, so it's it's kind of just now started getting up.
All right.
My computer is pretty slow, so
Okay.
sorry about that. But I think I'll go ahead and listen to watch the video again.
Right.
To,
And I'll load it up now. I'll tell you what, I'll log off. It'll take me probably the evening, like, or an hour. Well, if you need it right now, I will tell you it'll take me 15 minutes to do that. 15. Probably within 30 minutes, I can load it back up for you, okay?
All right, that'd be great.
All right, I'll do it, buddy. All right, have a good evening now.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You bet.